I just finished my first year teaching in Seoul, and we're gonna talk about it. Okay? We're gonna talk about it. If you're thinking to coming to Seoul to teach at like a hagwon, here is, from my experience, things you should consider. Yeah, just kind of how the whole experience is. I will not say what company I worked for because I am not trying to get sued. Still talk about just the whole experience. I'll start off with the good because there is some good things about it. Teaching wasn't really a thing for me when I came here, but definitely teaching some of the students and seeing how far they progress was definitely a fulfilling experience. And some of the students are really, really sweet. I do think Korean kids are a lot more well-behaved, like generally speaking. That isn't to say that there aren't like a few kids that are absolutely not well-behaved, but I would say mass majority, especially with how the culture is here, kids are usually pretty respectful towards you. Also some good things. I mean, you're living in Seoul or Korea. Korea is an amazing country and you get to experience a lot of it. I would say I worked a lot, but I definitely still had time to, explore the city of Seoul. Definitely have a lot of like cultural experiences and stuff. So yeah, if you're trying to do that for a year and you just want to get paid while you're here and do that, then definitely could be worth it for you. Now let's talk about the bad. First, I'm going to talk about in general what you might expect that you might not like that much. If you're trying to learn Korean, I'll be honest with you, it's very difficult. At least for me, and the way I learn, it's very, very difficult from going to speaking like English and teaching English for like 7 hours a day. Find the time to go to a class and really like deep dive into the language. You will learn some Korean, like a very superficial level. And maybe if you take it serious enough, you can actually go deeper. But teaching at a hagwon, the hours it demands and during the time it demands, it's very difficult to find language course that you can go to and to keep up with it. Going off of that, living in Korea definitely has its downs. It is really a good country, like I said, but there are a few moments it might not be the best for you. For example, when I was looking for an apartment, many places just straight up denied me as soon as they found out that I was a foreigner. Instances like this, like small inconveniences like this can kind of happen. If you're not used to it, if you're from an area that you're not used to these kind of things, then maybe it can shock you, but don't let it hurt your feelings too much, I guess. Biggest thing for me that really, really kind of like sucked is definitely the working culture, how demanding it is. Specifically, how demanding my workplace was when it came to this. Across the board, no matter where you work, Korea's working culture will be harsh compared to the US and many other countries. It's just like an expectation when you are thinking about coming to teach at a hagwon is definitely really go through your contract, really ask those questions, because most of the time these contracts are really written in a way to kind of take advantage of you, to be honest. Korea is a very hyper-capitalistic country, and they will take advantage of you if you let it. And especially with working at a hagwon, you're really not expected to stay more than a year. They're okay with doing that to you, to be honest. They're not expecting you to stay. They're really not expecting you to like it that much. I'm not going to put the burden on where I worked. If anyone I worked with sees this, this kind of goes where it's not like you can't really blame the people around you. It's like deeply embedded into the people who are the big bosses that make these kind of decisions. The things I really disliked about where I worked and my, I guess, hagwon experience. First one I'll talk about is that they kind of just straight up lie to you a little bit. They kind of reel you in with lies and then make you sign the contract. And then once it comes time to work, it's a little bit different than what you heard. For example, I was told I would work from 4 to 10, but the contract I signed for was for 2 to 10. And I'm not going to say that I worked, my schedule was very, I think, balanced in a way, but when you're told something and then something else is like the actual reality, it kind of like makes every time you have to come in earlier than you were told hurt a little bit more, if that makes sense, like how you were tricked. Going off of that, they kind of manipulate that 2 to 10 in various ways. So normally I would teach 2 classes, which would be 6 hours, or I would teach 1 class, which is just 3 hours. A couple like 5-minute breaks sprinkled along those few hours. So like every hour you'd get like a 5-minute break. But the biggest thing was that there was no lunch break. So you were kind of expected to eat before you arrived, which kind of makes sense if you're starting that late. But it is said that you're going to get like an hour break 2 times out of the year for like 3 to 4 weeks. I would have to come in early to teach a class, but they would count the 1 hour that was supposed to be for like admin or lunch or whatever. And I was teaching during that time, so it wouldn't count towards overtime. So rarely I ever really, even if I worked more past that, Rarely I would get overtime because the hours just wouldn't add up because I was set for this 2 to 10 time. So basically what I'm trying to say is that they snake through this contract trying to pay you as little as possible on the hours that you're working. You will definitely not get a lot of vacation if that's what you're hoping for. What I can blame my work for, and this was my biggest gripe against the place I worked at, is that you're given these vacation days, but these vacation days are not promised and you're not paid out for them. So you have to try and fight with the other instructors to get your 12 days off. And the school refuses to hire a sub, even if they have the ability to, because it would cost the school money to hire a sub. Then like I just never understood, if you promise people 12 vacation days, you could theoretically just deny them those days during the entire time. So it made planning and just the whole idea of a vacation day just kind of useless. You're working basically all year long. You don't really get the vacation days that you want or that work out for you, and you don't get paid out for those vacation days. So it's kind of like a lose-lose. Listen, I've heard like many hagwon experiences that were way worse than mine, and I also heard some that are better than mine. So it really is kind of like a base by base basis. I'm just speaking from my experience. The worst thing that you can do, to be honest, not know what you're getting yourself into when you come here. So that's kind of the purpose of myself making this video. I just kind of want to share just how my experience was. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe you just learned a few things about how it is here. And yeah, maybe it can help you want to come, not to come, or just to expect more of what there is to be when you come to work at a hagwon here in Korea. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if it was helpful. And if you have any questions, definitely drop it down in the comments. I'll try to respond as fast as possible. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.